Hey moms, I'm Alicia Searle, and tonight I am going to give you this video because I thought we needed a plan B. With a storm moving in, beta is moving in, and we know that storms can be very unexpected and they take detours and do different things, and we never know what to expect. That's life storms and natural disaster storms, right? So I just wanted to make sure that we are still going to be able to connect and that my presentation will still come to you. So this is plan B. Hopefully I am meeting you through Zoom, but just in case for some reason you lose power or I lose power or something happens or our Zoom call gets cut off, that you still have this to be able to go back to and look at. So with that being said, we are talking about parenting during a pandemic. Boy, and it's been a year, hasn't it? 2020 has definitely thrown in a lot of trials and storms in this life, and we're about to encounter another one pretty soon. I'm looking outside right now, and it's pretty stormy and raining at my house. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that motherhood is hard enough already, right? But we tack on a pandemic and civil unrest and all these school choices that we're having to make, and it can seem downright just overwhelming. So tonight, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out, and just realize that we are going to get filled back in with truth, connection, and rest tonight. So I hope that we can all come back together as moms and just get filled up spiritually. So as we walk through storms in this life, we can go through a lot of feelings. We can have a lot of feelings. I'm going to show you some of the feelings that we might go through when we have various storms that we go through in our life. Has anyone ever felt this before? Discontent? Yeah, me too. With everything going on, I know I have felt pretty discontent. All the things that I've been used to, just being able to pack up my kids and go to the park, I haven't been able to do as easily. So I've been a little discontent with some of the things that we've been going through. What about feeling lonely? Any moms out there feeling lonely? When we're all isolated and at home, it's hard to have a community. I'm very grateful that our churches are opening back up, but it can still feel very lonely in this season. How many of you have compared yourself? Especially in times right now where, we've been online a lot, and maybe you're looking at those moms that are whipping together some amazing crafts and dinners, and you're like, oh, I didn't do that. And we compare ourselves to other moms, maybe to other families. Maybe we compare our marriages. But this can be very easily done, especially the only way we're connected right now is through social media and through a lot of the news right now. So we seem to want to compare ourselves to others. Have you ever felt like this? Maybe when you're going through a hard time, you felt like an outcast because maybe you feel like you just don't fit in because nobody understands. How about this one? Anyone feel angry? Maybe a little frustrated and mad that things are the way they are? When we go through a storm or we're going through a global pandemic, we can have a lot of feelings. And sometimes we can get angry about it. I think we all feel this. We feel this before a pandemic, especially if you have little bitty ones and you're going on very little sleep. It's very exhausting. It can be exhausting, especially physically when you're running after little ones. But we can also feel that emotional and mental exhaustion that maybe we never really felt before, but we're feeling it a lot more right now. And then speaking of feeling exhausted and all these other feelings that we're feeling, sometimes we can feel guilty about feeling those things. Should I have felt that way? Maybe I shouldn't feel this way. We feel guilty for the way that we're reacting or the way we're feeling about things. And then that leaves us to feel very heavy-hearted. All these things that we're feeling, all this information that we're absorbing, and mentally, emotionally, physically, it can just leave us feeling heavy-hearted. So, here's my advice to you. And it's really not my advice. It's his advice. Ditch the super cape and pick up the cross. Sounds easier said than done, right? You're like, okay, yeah, I know I can do that, but how can I really actually do that? As many of us are feeling a lot of these different things, I have to show you really quick. So as I was preparing for this and for several other things, my 4-year-old wanted to add to my notes. Yeah, she always likes to outshine me. Anyway, but as we're feeling all these different things, maybe there's some action steps or things that we can do to help us just reframe our mind a little bit. So if you're feeling discontent, let me see if I can find where I was here. I've lost my notes. I knew that would happen. I think first things we have to do is we have to acknowledge that we're feeling a lot of these things, and then we have to try to take some action steps to realize that we can help, do better. And then if we're feeling discontent and not happy and unsettled with the way that things are, sometimes just writing a list that we're grateful for, maybe taking a minute to say, okay, yes, things aren't the way they used to be, and I'm really upset that I can't just pack up my kids and go to the park, or I can't just, go see, a lot of friends that I used to. Maybe write a list of things that you are thankful for. Maybe your health is good. So maybe you've been able to, your husband has been able to still work, or, you still have a home and a bed to sleep in. It's the little things too that we can be grateful for, and start a little gratitude journal. If you're struggling with loneliness, maybe pick up the phone and call that friend. Maybe text a friend and say, hey, will you pray for me? I really need some accountability. I'm feeling really alone. Someone that you trust, a close friend that is struggling probably with the same thing. You're going to hear my Godfather clock. If you're struggling with comparisons, maybe that's a time to stop scrolling so much through the social media. Take a little break from it. Look at the things that are drawing you in to compare, and set boundaries around it and say, you know what, if it's social media, I'm going to take a little break, or I'm just going to get on it from, 9 to 10, and put some kind of restrictions and limits on it, so that it doesn't constantly filtrate your heart and it doesn't lead to this so easily, because we're all struggling, really. And if you're feeling like an outcast, maybe plan a small group with some moms. Do a little drive-by a house to a mom that is struggling, or do something to plan an event with a few other moms that would feel comfortable getting together. Or if you don't feel comfortable getting together, host something virtually, kind of like you're doing tonight. Take the initiative and be a part of doing something to call some moms together. And we all struggle with this from time to time. If you're struggling with anger, I know right now you really can't do that, but if it's a nice day, go take a walk, get outside, take a deep breath, breathe, go in your bedroom for a little bit and lock yourself away. Just do something to kind of remove yourself away from what it is. And sometimes it could be your little people in your house. Sometimes it can just be the overwhelming stress of hearing so much that's going on around you. Just remove yourself for just a little bit to just kind of get a little clarity. You're feeling exhausted. Oh, you sweet mamas with little bitties. I have been there 3 times, and I know how hard it is when you're going on very little sleep and you're just sleep deprived. I know everyone says sleep while they're sleeping and do this while, they're busy, and it's easier said than done. I understand that. If you can catch a little cat nap, try to do that. If you feel like you've got other things that you need to do, I understand that too. But sleep is so important, and we all need that physical rest. Try to just go to bed on time if you can, and get the sleep you can until that little one wakes up at 1, 2, and 3 in the morning. But that there is light at the tunnel. They will start sleeping a little better. So just sleep whenever you are able to, because it is good for your body. And we all hold on to guilt sometimes, right? All of us can hold on to guilt and feel really bad about our feelings. And I think when we do that, that's the times we need to kind of step outside of ourselves, and maybe we can serve someone else and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let all this take away and steal my joy. Maybe you go bring cookies to another mom, or maybe you bake your husband's favorite meal or your kid's favorite meal. Do something that's gonna steal this away and bring back joy. And since we're all kind of struggling with feeling heavy-hearted, this is something with all of these feelings that we can feel really heavy-hearted. Just dig into what it is that's making all these, infiltrations come in and just leaving you feeling really heavy, and do something to maybe distract you from that. Exercise or go for a walk, or a lot of people just take a few moments to just breathe and relax for a minute. And I know that is much easier said than done. But anyway, mamas, I am going to talk about 3 things too, besides, and those are just suggestions. It doesn't mean you have to do all those things. If there's 1 or 2 things that speak to you, if there's an emotion that you're really struggling with and 1 or 2 of those things are really speaking to your heart, then do something that's going to help you regain a little bit of peace back into your soul and your heart. But there are 3 things that I know our God really wants us to hold tight to when we're going through a storm, whether that be a natural disaster storm or that be a storm like a global pandemic or just a life storm, which we're all going to go through at some point, because in this life we're going to struggle in this life. The first thing that I would suggest that you do is you dig into your Bible and you dig into the Word. I would say search for Bible verses that really speak to you. And I know I have a few. One of my favorite ones is Psalms 46:10, which says, "Be still and know that I am God." Another one is Proverbs 3:5-6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him and he will make your path straight." That's another one of my favorites. Another one is Joshua 1:9, which says, "Be strong and courageous." So as you're finding a little time to get away and get a little still and quiet and seek the truth, ask God to reveal Bible verses to you that you can cling on to during times that are really difficult and hard. I have Bible verses all over my house. I have put them inside of my cabinet in my kitchen. I have put them on my kids' mirrors in their bathroom. I put them on my mirror. We tape them up kind of all over the place. And, just print them out, ones that speak to you. Sometimes I know if you're really fancy, Hobby Lobby has some really cute ones that are actually on plaques and different things like that, if that speaks to you, whatever it is. But find somewhere where you can put Bible verses around your house that speak to your heart, that are going to remind you of truth and help you fall back on the Word. Especially when you're going through hard times, you know that those verses are going to be ones that are etched here and that you can always fall back onto. And the second thing I would say is to connect with one another, connect with other moms. And MOPS is such a beautiful way to connect with other moms that are going through the same thing you are. They're in the same season of life. They know that this is really tough. They know that motherhood is hard. They're parenting through a pandemic too. But they can hold you accountable. They can pray for you. They can love on you when you're struggling. I think we don't understand how much we really need community until it's gone. And I think right now with this pandemic, we've been so separated and so isolated, we have forgotten the invaluable importance of fellowship. So I just would ask that you just reach out to other moms, just help hold each other accountable, help love on one another and serve one another, because we really do all need that. And I'm just so glad that y'all have that in MOPS. Keep staying together. And there are some mom. I was in MOPS 13 years ago. I have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old. Actually, she's almost 14. 13, 11, and then a 4-year-old. And I have some friends that I still have known for like the last 13 years that I met at MOPS with my first daughter. So hang on to those, because y'all can help each other through your trials and your struggles, and just really, support and encourage and love one another. The last thing I would say, and I know we talked about this too, was rest. Now, there's 2 different kinds of rest I'm talking about here. Now, physically, we need rest. Our bodies need rest to heal. It helps us heal. It helps us, think better. We do need sleep. And as moms of little bitty newborns, the reason why we're so exhausted and tired all the time and we can't focus and think straight is because we're not sleeping. But we know that will eventually come. But the rest I'm talking about, not just physical. Yes, we do know that physical rest. And for you sweet mamas that do have those newborns, you will get that rest again, I promise. But I'm talking about rest that is peace rest. I'm talking about rest that fills your heart and your soul, that only comes from our God. And that rest is found in quiet times with Him. So that Psalms 46:10 verse that I had mentioned earlier that says, "Be still and know that I am God," fall back on that verse, because that verse is the one I am speaking of mostly when I'm saying that you find a quiet place. And even if you don't have a lot of quiet in your house, maybe it's constantly, you're dealing with loud noises and kids running each which way. I get that. If you need to go outside and find a little spot on the swing, if you need to get into the bathroom and lock yourself in there just for a few minutes, or your closet, find a little place where you can say, okay, guys, if they're old enough, 5 and up maybe, or 4 and up if you have some, or put them in front of Blippi or Peppa Pig and just say, Mommy's gonna go take a shower. And you go take a shower, and then you take time to relax and rejuvenate your soul and your heart. You have to have that, especially when you're going through hard times. The only one that's going to carry you through hard times is your Heavenly Father. He's the only one that will speak love to you and truth to you that you truly need. Now, your community and your moms, of course, will. They will. And your family will. And your sweet, precious babies will too. And God uses all different peoples to speak life and love into us. But when we're at the end of our rope and we have nowhere else to go and we are just flailing through this life, which we all sometimes get to sometimes, God's going to be the only one that can fill that cup for us. So we have to go back and fall back on His truth. Go into the Bible and say, Lord, refill my cup. What Bible verses do I need to be reminded of being your daughter and who I am and getting me through this hard time? And then just being in that still, quiet moment, feeling His presence and feeling Him speak into you and speak life into you, that will fill you up more than anything else when you're going through a really difficult time. And I will say, through this pandemic, that has been the only strength I have found sometimes, is just getting away from everybody and hearing Him in the quiet, hearing Him through all the storm, all the noises aside. And if you don't have quiet, even if you're washing dishes, you can still try to just say, Lord, I am seeking you. I am seeking you while I'm folding clothes. I am seeking you while my kids are playing outside and it's loud, because He knows you don't have an exact quiet moment. But wherever you are, if you are reaching out and calling out to Him, He will meet you, because that's what He does. He knows where you are. He knows your heart. He knows you're struggling. He knows you're going through a storm. And that's when you call out to Him, that's when He will meet you. So I've done a lot of talking so far. I'm going to do a second section, but if y'all want to do a pause in this video and maybe share with a few of you of Bible verses that speak to your heart, you can do that before I move on. Just share with one another Bible verses that have really reminded you of truth, Bible verses that have carried you through hard times. Has there been a Bible verse in particular that God has really laid on your heart? So if you want to take a few minutes, you can share that with one another. And then I'm about to move on. So this was going to be my talking point for you guys. But we'll keep moving on since this is a video. The other thing I was going to talk to you about is being prepared. So this is going to be a little bit different. So of course we want to definitely make sure that we're seeking truth, real, honest word, Bible, word truth, that we're seeking connection, that we're getting together with other moms, helping us, encourage, love, support another, and hold each other accountable to be the best moms that we can be. And then also, my 4-year-old's coming in. And then also, hi, sweetheart, I'm doing a MOPS moms group. Be careful, don't knock my phone over. You want to come say hi? Here, come over here. And then the last one was rest. Make sure you're finding rest. And see, you always have interruptions, but it's always fun. Can you say hi? I'm just doing a video for moms.
Hi.
She just got new glasses today, or actually this week, but we lost them today, so we found them. So it is like getting them today. She's only had them for 2 days, and she's already lost them once. And she's got braces on her arms because she fell off the swing and
Yeah.
broke both of her wrists. So it's always something, right? Being a mom is always something, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, so she may sit in my lap while I do this.